Huh.
We weren't talking about shoes or anything.
Tax deduction.
All right. We lead generated. So talk to me about how that went.
Well, I wanted to build my resources thing, so I called my plumber to help me with my renovation.
Perfect.
And said, I'm gonna put you in my database, and then I'm just making sure that you're actually still licensed. Yes, I have to probably use a licensed person when I use them for reference, right?
That's a plumber?
Yeah.
Yes, and they can have handyman license, I think that's up to $1,500
Okay.
worth of work, but anything over $1,500, I believe, needs
But
that.
we need to stick to referring licensed people probably?
No, they just have to stick to their rules. So if somebody's a handyman with a handyman license, they can do any job up to $1,500.
Okay,
That they're qualified for. Electrical, you have to be really careful, and
Okay.
plumbing, of course.
Okay, because he's as good as a pro, he just, sometimes he has the license and sometimes he doesn't, so.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, as long as it's a small job, it's just electrical you have to worry about, because that's a different,
okay, got it.
like,
Yeah.
don't kill someone.
Yeah.
It sounds like electrical is a different scenario. But no, that's great. So one of the things that I always say, and I know that when you were here Monday, Jeannie was talking to you a little bit about because I'm working on my vendor list, which I will share with you guys, but I actually say to all of those people, I go, and by the way, I'm a realtor, so I have to ask, who do you know who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? And funny story, I said exactly that to a gentleman who was the painter that painted the Kihei office. And he goes, you know what? I said, I go, and I know you know a lot of realtors. He goes, but you know what? No one's ever asked me that before. And he goes, and as a matter of fact, my parents are moving here. It's like, this is a guy who paints the office, and no one asked.
Oh, wow.
So sometimes it's just a matter of asking the question, right? So I just blame it on, like, I'm a realtor, so I have to ask, right? Who do you know?
Oh, I like that little phrase.
Yeah, who do you know who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? And then and just listen. And a lot of times they'll say, I don't really know of it, but it's amazing because everyone actually thinks about it. Like they take a beat and they think, well, I don't really know anybody right now, but I'll keep you in mind if I do. And they will keep me in mind if I keep reminding them to keep me in mind. If I don't remind them to keep me in mind, they won't. That's my job.
What do you say? I'm a realtor, so I have to ask.
So I have to ask, who do you know who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? And by the way, the who do you know, you're going to hear that a lot. That's a scripting through who do you know? That we call it the who do you know. Who do you know who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Sometimes if you know the person really well, pick a specificity for them. Like I said with your friends, like you were talking about the preschool. So I would literally say, hey, if you know anybody from your preschool that might be looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, right? So you can be specific. All right. So get your head in the game. So you guys know the drill. So we're here. We're in contract negotiation. The exciting part. All right. So this is all about negotiation. So let me ask you this. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like the FBI should hire me, I'm so good at negotiations. 1 being like I pay exactly what they're asking at the car dealership for the car, and I even buy all the extra warranties and stuff because I don't want to say no. So where do you fall on
What's the best
That's a good
one?
scale, right?
What's the
10
best
is like the FBI should hire me.
I'm a 10, I'm an 11.
Are you? So
Yeah.
you're a really good negotiator. Oh,
No, I'm a sucker.
You're a sucker, so where do you put
I
yourself?
just bought all the stuff at the cart.
You bought it all. You bought the extended
the fuel
warranty.
injection, the tire change. I'm like, okay.
And you just paid them what they asked. You didn't
Yeah.
walk in and go like, you're going to give me a deal at that price? You didn't?
Yeah.
Okay, so next time you buy a car, bring me with you.
No,
first
I'm
of all.
totally American. Like, I did not haggle anything.
So the funny part is like my husband is like you. And I'm like you. He's like, I would buy a car without you. Are you crazy? Like,
No,
I
my
literally
husband
go
is too. I'm
and
just
buy
like,
it
oh, God, this
myself.
is so
because
embarrassing.
I don't need.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, you're going to get the best deal and you're going to get the right car and you're going to do.
Oh,
Just
I
go
make
do it,
people
right?
crazy. I embarrass my son or my friends or whoever, yeah.
But you get a good deal,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so the thing about negotiations is it's actually fun. And no matter how good you are or how not good you think you are, you can always get better. Just know that, right? We can always get better at our skill of negotiations. And real estate is very interesting because we're often negotiating for someone else, right? And the reason I say often is the only time you're really negotiating for you is when you're negotiating for your commission when you're speaking to your sellers, right? Other than that, you are always in negotiation for your buyer or your seller. You're not in negotiation for your commission, right? At that point, you've already negotiated what you'll get paid. We're not fighting for ourselves in these real estate transactions. We are fighting for who we represent in a fiduciary manner. We understand that, correct? Yeah, awesome. So a lot of times we have to sort of get, so it's interesting because I'm like you, I'm like a bulldog, right? Like I'm tired, but I'll say to the client, look, if I go at it from this direction, you could lose it. Are you okay with that? And it's their choice, right? Like if they're my buyer and they love that property, then they're not going to be okay with that. Or if they're my seller that I just took over their listing and they've been sitting for 9 months and nobody's offered them anything, and the first person comes in, they're like, no, don't lose this person. They're like in desperate mode, right? So like you have to see where your client is at. Like how much do you want me to negotiate for you? And please understand that negotiations does not mean you're not nice. Because a lot of times you can get a lot more if you're nice. Because you can get motivations out of people. And motivation is what drives. Right? Make sense? Awesome. Okay, so we're going to pull out a few common negotiations. I'm going to throw them at you guys. Just let's see how you would interact with that, okay? So you are agents, right? This is agent to agent. So I'm the agent on the other side. So Terry, you've offered me $450, and I'm listed at $480, and my client has given me permission, because you have to have permission to come back with a verbal dollar amount. So you've offered me $450, and I go, look, my client's definitely not going to go above or below $460. So this isn't going to work.
It's hard without having more information, but
Yeah.
and that's taking into consideration this thing over here and the fact that this is sold for that and this is listed for that.
Right.
I would do that kind of thing and ask the question back then. So that's taking these things into consideration and how many, and that you've been on the market for 107 days. And then these other 3 units are coming up available next week.
You bring up a good point. That's good. I like that. See, like bring up the facts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what you also did is you brought up the facts with a very even tone, right? You were totally calm. You didn't go, "Are you an idiot?" Right? Like,
Yeah.
Right.
you were really
Yeah,
calm,
the facts came out fast.
and you just were like, "Hey, this is where we base our price, and this is what makes sense," right? That's in essence what you were saying,
And it might have made sense before we found out yesterday that these other 3 units are gonna come up.
right? I love it.
Yeah, that
She's
was
good at
pretty
that.
awesome.
Okay.
I was really like, great, we'll do 160.
Okay then.
She's like, "Cave."
Perfect, let's sign it.
That's okay, it's all good. Okay, so you and I are, again, you're representing the buyer, and you, in the negotiations, your buyers really want the refrigerator. It's a really nice Viking fridge, it's $1 million home, and I'm like, sorry, my sellers are not willing to give up the refrigerator. So we can take everything, and we can do everything else in the contract, but are your buyers gonna be okay? Because we are not going to do that. Now, I'll give you a little backstory. You were in the house and the wife fell flipping in love with the Viking fridge. So,
Okay, you know, I think this is one of those items where it's just something you can buy at the store, buy a brand new one for whatever house you move into, but this one refrigerator is what's gonna close your deal.
not bad. What'd you think? Those?
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I would throw in something about she's clearly got an emotional attachment to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Don't be afraid to tell me that.
Okay, the
and
Viking
it's
fridge
like-
represents you've made it to her. You know, like she's made it. She's gonna buy a house with a Viking refrigerator now, so she's super excited about that fridge.
And you can literally replace it.
And they've got these 3 kids. They're gonna pack it in like the day they move in. So.
Nice. I like it. I would even, don't be afraid to say, I'll be honest with you. I was there, you were not, when they saw it. She's in love with it. Are you willing to kill the deal over a fridge? Like, you gotta kind of, how can we make this work? Right? Yeah? Don't be afraid to say that. Nice.
All right, good.
I like it. That's good.
Good.
You guys are good at this. Wow. All right. So, we're gonna watch a little video. Yes.
What you are? Okay.
And you're gonna go potty.
Did that go on the video?
Yeah.